Alrighty, welcome to another Real Talk Tuesdays. Here we are back. My name is Justin Messina. I'm a health and lifestyle coach, and tonight's topic is all about being who you want to be, living the life you really want to live, and not delaying it, going after what you truly want. And this is overly simplistic, as a lot of topics are, but we're going to really dive deep to the core of how to do this and why it's so important to actually do this today, now. So tonight we've got some great guests with us. We've got Earl. Earl, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, just unbelievable. Real excited and blessed to be here, Justin.
Awesome, awesome, Earl. Good to have you. And we've got Rob. Rob, how you doing?
I'm doing outstanding, man. Get ready to rock and roll. Glad to be here.
Alrighty, so let's get rolling. As we do on this show, guys, live interaction. You can do it underneath the YouTube video. You can also use the hashtag RTT. That might be changing soon. And sorry about that. Um, you can use the hashtag RTT if you want to use Twitter live during the show. So the topic tonight, like I said, is being who you want to be and how to do this. Lots to talk about. I'm just going to lead in, and we're just going to sort of flow from there. This is real talk, so we're just going to hit you with uh, just just being completely real, not trying to sugarcoat things, not speaking from theories and philosophies, just going right after it. So the first thing I want to talk about is getting when you get a vision, or you get just a desire or a voice or a calling on a deeper sense, and you get this in your mind or in your heart, and this longing to do something maybe outside of what your normal life entails, or outside of what's really logical. And how do I go after this, right? How do I just live up to that voice or that calling? And when you have to go over after something like that, it can be really difficult because it might not make any sense. Like I said, it might not be logical, but going after it is super important. And when you can get to the place where you're completely yourself and you're completely using your greatest talents and you're using your greatest gifts, and you're doing things in a way that you actually want to do, things get a lot easier. I think the real struggle, or the real challenge, I should say, is really getting to that point, is allowing yourself to step out of your current circumstances and to actually get to that point. So we're going to go through a bunch of different topics on how do I be completely me, and how do I embrace that, and how does that look in my the people around me, the communities, creating a community, and also maybe your current surroundings. So I'm going to leave it open. That's super broad, and we're going to just dive right into this topic. So Rob, why don't you take it away? And I know you got some great points for us tonight.
Oh yeah. I mean, when you take a look at when sometimes when we take a look at ourselves and we look at others and what they're doing, and we try to model someone else, and we see doing that sometimes it doesn't work out well for us, because you have to truly be you, and people are buying you, and that's what makes you different. I give you an example. I remember I was looking at a gentleman before doing some videos, and I mean, it was totally just off the wall, off the chain, just something I thought he would never see any success from. And because it just wasn't normal, it wasn't what I'm used to, or as I would say, what others are used to. And I saw I did, the videos are coming out. I was just saying to myself, man, is this guy really trying to go somewhere with these videos? But come to find out, what he was doing was just, that was him. That's what made him different from anyone else. And believe it or not, he did his videos and he became successful by doing what he did. That's what made him who he is. So the more the story is this: you have to be you, and people are buying you, and you have to be uniquely you. Don't try to model someone else or try to be someone else. Create you. For instance, I give you another example. When I first came to the United States, I had a strong accent. As you can tell, I still have a little accent now. And I thought it was something that was bad on my end by having an accent, because I hear everyone else talking, so I figured that I wanted to change it. So I tried to speak properly, and then I started trying to speak nice, and I figured that it was going to made a difference because no, I'm going to fit in, because I feel that I wasn't be able to fit in because I had an accent. Come to find out, that accent was uniquely me. That was who I am. And people absolutely love it. So every time I was going around, I would hear, oh, I love your accent. I wish I could have an accent. I wish I can speak like you. And I started ringing back to me and saying to myself, wait a minute here. I have something that's unique, that is not the ordinary. Why am I trying to change it? Why don't I just be me and be who I am and continue on with that accent? But when you find, because of that, you find some people used to make fun of it, so I figured I wanted to change it. Another thing, you know, I was at work and I made a page, but the page came out so strong over the intercom with the accent. And right away, a young lady turned around and said, maybe next time you want to get someone else to do the page because your accent is so strong. And you know what I turned around to her and said? Let's see if we're going to get customers come up and take action. And guess what happened? Customers was coming up and taking action. I says, there you go. That's all that matters. That's uniquely me, and that's what make me different. And now I am attracted to them to come up and take action. So with that said, you have to just be you. Dig deep in your core and find out who you are. Sometimes it takes time to figure that out. It takes some time to go in and say, okay, what do I want to portray to the universe? What do I want to come off as? I mean, when I say it takes time because I struggle with that for a while, trying to figure out how am I going to present to the world as being a health coach? What do I want to do differently? I didn't want to get out and talk about fruits and vegetables because it's one of the most lamest thing when you can hear any health coach or anyone comes up on a presentation and telling you to eat fruits and vegetables. It is totally lame, because if that was the case of saving the world would have been saved already, because it's so simple to eat fruits and vegetables. So I had to figure out how to be uniquely me, not go up on any stage or any form of radio show and tell you got to eat your fruits and vegetables, because that's not the answer. So that's when I had to dig deep within me and figure out, okay, I need to come up with something, because obviously if it was eating fruits and vegetables, we wouldn't be where we are today. So I decided, okay, you know what, why don't we talk about the chemicals that's on the fruits and vegetables? Why don't we talk about how many chemicals and pesticides that's on strawberries, on regular conventional strawberries? Why don't I talk about broccoli has a lot of pesticides that's old inside of it? Why don't we talk about the soil that's being depleted, that you're not getting any more nutrients whatsoever from the product what you're eating, and steer you towards slowly going to eating organic. So that's what I had to kind of dig deep and figure out, how am I going to be unique within the health world? Also within the marketing world, how am I going to be unique? What do I have to offer? So those are just some examples I want to throw there at you. So just take a deep step within you and look, what do you want to do, and be different. So what if it's ugly, if it's pretty, don't worry about it. As long as it is uniquely you, because I'm telling you, mark my word, be you, and people love you for who you are, and they will buy you. All right, so I would love to hear Earl to jump in, and I'd love to hear his old advice in this topic. Earl, I think you're on mute.
Earl, try.
Muted.
Can you hear me now?
Awesome.
Yep, loud and clear.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep. All good.
Yeah, you know, the most important thing I've ever learned in my career is the fact that people don't buy from you because your company is golden. People don't buy from you because you've got the magic product that's going to fix all their problems. There's one reason people buy from you, and it's because they like you. And you may be touching on something that's useful to them, but if you can't relate to them to where they like you, you're dead in the water. So a real good example I seen you do, Rob, firsthand, was when we got into the weight loss industry. You started out with courage like I hadn't seen in a long time. He takes his shirt off with the belly hanging down there, and there was no abs, man, for the before picture. And then he talked about this plan of action, and he called all of us to do this action with him. And the next thing you know, 8, 9, 10 weeks went by, and here's Rob with six-pack abs and his Facebook filling up with people because they wanted what Rob had. And why was that? Well, it's because Rob was legitimate, just like he's saying. He wasn't talking about something that couldn't be done. He was explaining a solution to a problem, gave out a call to action, set the example himself, and wham, here he is. Now, 5, 6 months after all this took place, everybody, Rob, you got lucky. What are you doing? And all Rob did was take action. And, you know, if that's what you need to do in your home business to make success happen, never be afraid to take action. You know, I've closed over $1 million worth of business of door-to-door frozen meat over the years of my lifetime, going door-to-door. I used to go into stores and train their people and hire whole new crews. When that store's numbers doubled, I'd go to the next one. And the one thing I learned about working with people, especially going door-to-door, if they believe they can achieve it, they're going to do it. What you got to recognize with all people is we're all human. We're all going to make mistakes. Now, what stops us from progressing in business? We get up to the plate, and we got that ball coming, and we could just smack that baby right out of the park. But what are we doing instead? Oh, somebody's looking at me. I'm worried about what everybody might think. I can't swing, and the pitch goes right by, and you miss it. It's a perfect strike. Pretty soon 3 of them go by. You struck out before you could swing the bat. Don't be afraid to take action, and don't be afraid to fail. I mean, we can learn a lot of things when we look at history. If you look at Thomas Edison that created the light bulb, you know, he was told he was crazy and nuts and he needed to give up and he was being ludicrous. There's no such thing as a light bulb. That thing's never going to come to pass. I don't know if I would really have the patience to try anything 14,000 times to make it work. But if you take a look at what Thomas Edison did, he failed 14,000. You got to be kidding me. There's 365 days in a year, so I don't know how many years this guy failed trying to make that light bulb, but 14,000 is a pretty high number. I mean, I'd imagine he failed 5 or 6, 7 times a day, but look at what people said. Oh, you're crazy, that'll never come. What is wrong with you? You've got to be nuts. But what did he do? He stuck to his guns because he believed it. You know, I watched a really good movie once that kind of goes along with this topic. Trying to remember what the name of the movie is. I can picture it all in my head. I can't. Facing the Giants. It's a Christian-based movie. And this guy's a soccer player, never played football before, and he's going to try out for the football team because they don't have soccer at this place. And he goes out there, and he comes home to his dad, and he says, yeah, Dad, they don't have a soccer team, but they've got a football team. And I don't know, man, I just don't know if I could make the team. And he said something real important. Well, you can't get more not on the team than you already are now. This guy's afraid that he won't make the team. Well, you're already as not on the team as you can be. But he had to have the courage to try. And his dad looked at him and he says, let me ask you something. He says, is the only reason you don't go out for the football team is because you're afraid to try? And he says, well, I might fail. And he says, do you believe you're going to fail? And he says, no, I just might. And he says, believe that you're going to succeed. Go out there and kick that football the same way that you would kick that soccer ball and give it everything you got. Son, actions always follow beliefs. And I'm a firm believer, folks, that if you believe it with all your heart, and you go forward with it with everything you got, like Thomas Edison did. If you look at Vincent Ortega with Internet Lifestyle Network, you're just under 30 years old. You're playing in a game, young man, that you shouldn't be playing with. Who do you think you are? But you know, he didn't listen to the people around him. He had a vision. I'm going to profit 50 grand a month on the internet using simple tools, doing simple things, and I'm going to prove to the world it works, whether the world believes it's possible or not. And Vincent went forward. The next thing we seen was ILN come to pass. When Rob Shepard called me up and said, Earl, I found this program that's really helped me to get in touch with my people. I want you to check it out. I was open-minded. I seen a solution to my problems of communications, and I grabbed this system, Power Lead System, which showed me quite a bit of new things for my business. I was new to that part of internet marketing. It was a whole new world to me. Should I stay away from it because I had never done it before? Or should I jump right in? Well, I dove right in. I started building websites. I knew where I wanted my brand to be. I was in the middle of creating my brand at the time, but I had no idea how to build a website. I had no idea how to do anything but do an email. But I didn't let that stop me. In fact, I configured a website and I published it and sent it out. And after I sent it out to everybody, I realized I sent them the outline of the website. I didn't even publish the real website. I made a total mistake. Sent it out to everybody. I remember you, Rob, sending me, what is this, Earl? What am I looking at? But you know, I had to fail to get there. Today, you can look at my website, and it's actually a blog site instead of a website. Because I come to these hangouts. We had these discussions about blogs. I didn't know how to make a blog. I'm still learning some things about blogging. But, you know, I'm not afraid to jump out there and do it. I'm not afraid to fail over and over again until I get it right. When I first started selling meat door to door, I wasn't the top dog. I went out there and I failed really bad. And then I saw another guy that was selling meat like it was going out of style. And I said, hey, I'll pay you $100 if you'll let me ride on your truck with you just today. I want to watch and see what you're doing so I could duplicate it. He said, keep your money, get in the truck. So I went and I watched what he did. I duplicated his habits. And what happened? I became a success. Why? Because I practiced the work habits. And when you're looking at your home business and you want to make it successful, look at the basic fundamentals of those work habits. Do you read every day to keep abreast of what's going on? Do you believe you can achieve what you're doing? And is what you're doing something that you feel comfortable with? And if the answer is yes to all of those things, never be afraid to take action. You're going to skin your knees. Well, you didn't jump out of the womb and take off on a 10-mile sprint. You had to learn to crawl before you walk. So if you're in the home business industry and you want to see your career go up, stop and remember, you didn't jump on a bicycle and start a race. Some people started with training wheels. Somebody started with mom or dad behind them, pushing them on the bike. But eventually you fell over and you got up. Just like learning to walk, you fell down and skinned your knees and got up. The worst thing you could do in your home business career is go, I'm too scared to try. And that's what stops most people, because if you look at the history of the most success that's ever happened, often the time when the big home run was hit, it was something that the person thought they were doing as a mistake that turned out to be the big win. So you've always got to be willing to be yourself. You always got to be willing to go forward. Do you think Noah left it all? I mean, let's look at Noah in the Bible. I'm going to flood the earth is what God tells him. And he didn't tell Noah it's going to take 100 years to flood the earth. He just told him, I want you to build the boat, the biggest boat the world's ever seen. So he's building this ark. Now imagine 75 years later, Noah has now become the tourist attraction. They are gathering around this boat, partying, drinking it up. They're celebrating, making fun of this crazy old coot building a boat out in the middle of a desert where there's never been any water. There's never been any rain. This guy's off his rocker. But Noah knew what he was. He had a vision. And he didn't care what anybody else thought. He knew that he was going to put his mission forward at all cost. And what happens? Well, at the end, we know what happens. The flood came, and all those people were making fun of them. Well, they had the chance to get on the boat and chose not to. And in business, folks, it's the same thing. You've got to realize you've got the train going to the top of Success Hill. And the mental attitude that you need to carry as a leader is, hey, I'm going to the top. We're going to get there. It's impossible to miss this destination. Do you want to get on this ship? Do you want to go to the top? And when you want to go to the top bad enough that you're not worried about what other people think and you're willing to put one foot in front of the other and understand, you know what? I might put a post on Facebook completely backwards and miss the point by a mile. But at least I took that action that 90% of the people did not have the guts to do. And when I look back at the meat business and my success in that career, how many people want to go door to door and sell steak? I mean, come on, this is not something somebody wants to do. But, you know, I was really good at it because I knew I could open up a box and I could go, do you see this T-bone steak? And they go, yeah. Would you pay $8 for that steak in this store? No, closer to 15. Well, I got 60 of them in this box. If you take them all off my hands now, I'll give them to you at $3 a piece. It's 180 bucks. Where's your freezer at? I'll put them in there for you. You see, I would assume the sale, and that's how I sold, and that's how I got the sale. What did I know? I knew in my mind they were going to buy that steak. I knew they were going to buy it at the store anyway. I knew they were going to spend more money for it. So I'm showing them better quality for less money. It's a no-brainer. If they've got the money, the only question left is, where do you want me to put it? Assume the sale and go for the action. Well, you do the same thing with home business, okay? What do you want to do? If you're not going to break any of God's laws or you're not going to break any of man's laws, what is it that you're willing to do to contribute to your own success each week? And if you can contribute 1 hour a day, 5 days a week to your own success, then don't worry about failing in the process, because when you look at the top earners, every single one of them failed on the way to the top. Don't be afraid to fail your way to the top, because in reality, that's the only way to get there, man. I don't know what more I could add to this, Rob. I hope that was good.
That was powerful. And you know, Justin, I give you a couple of takeaways. I want people to get this takeaway.
All right.
Get these takeaways. There's 3 things you want to hear from there. Solution to the problem. I'm going to repeat it again from this. Takeaway. Find the solution to the problem. If you're a health coach, have the solution to the problem. Don't sell the product, sell the solution. Another thing, if you notice what he said there, was door-to-door meat sales. I'm 42 years old. I never had a person knock on my door to sell me meat ever in my life. So that was another different piece where he found somewhere where he can go to your house, save you from driving, give you cheaper steak, better quality, fresh off the farm, and he find a solution to the person's problem. So he was able to deliver that to them in their refrigerator and make over $1 million in meat sales. So to consider that I don't go on, think about this. Before we do anything, think of the solution of what you want to deliver. Think of being you in the delivery of the process. I'm going to let Justin jump right in because I have some great steps and what we can do in steps to be truly you. All right, so Justin, jump right in, brother.
Yeah, I got a lot to go over, and first thing I want to go through. I kind of have like three points as well. Number one is I kicked off this call when it relates to what Earl's talking about with Noah, and like getting a vision and acting out the vision, regardless of what people around you are saying or thinking. And what happens a lot of times is people get the initial voice or the initial desire to do something, and they delay action. And there's really 3 ways you can actually delay action. Number one is you can just ignore it, which a lot of people do. They just hear something that sounds crazy, could sound great, but it sounds so out of reach, so they just ignore it. They're like, that's not for me. I can't do that. So they just kill it right at the birth of the idea. And then the second way is to procrastinate it, right? So you're not all in going after your vision, but you're sort of 1 foot in, or you're sort of wavering with the idea of is this possible? And then the third thing that people delay action, the third way people delay action is they do something smaller, like a stepping stone to the thing. And this is what I want to focus on, is because this really ties into being who you are, but more importantly, going after the life you want. And when you sort of go after, if you know something in your heart, in your mind, I want this lifestyle. I want a lifestyle where I can maybe travel and I'm not stuck in one place. I don't have to worry about week to week paychecks to pay my expenses and pay my loans and my bills. You know, just on a simple level, something very simple like that. And you have certain desires. We all have different passions. Whatever we're basically created for, whatever our desires are, whatever our strengths are, and it leads us in a certain direction where we're going to be something. There's a way for us to be great and to be able to follow that. So, what a way of delaying action is to actually do something that kind of feels good because you're stepping in the right direction, but you're thinking, okay, well, that great thing that I have in my heart, I'll do that in the future. That's a future thing. I'm going to take some steps towards it, but I'm not really going to go after it yet. And this is where, you know, a lot of trickiness comes in with the mind. You could make excuses. You could say all kinds of things that don't sound like excuses, but they really are excuses, like, I can't do that now. I'm not positioned to do that now, or I don't have what it takes yet to be in that position, or I don't know the right people to be in that position. But when it comes to being who you want to be and doing exactly what you feel you're called to do, what you're meant to do, you need to go do that right now, today, and you can't delay or create a stepping stone up to that point, because if you do that, all you're doing is you're cutting yourself off at the knees and you're just delaying where you're going to get to where you could become great. All right, obviously this goes into being very self-aware and carrying things out in the right way strategically, but that is sort of different ways people delay action, and you just need to cut through all that, and you need to be very specific on how you're going to get to where you're going to get to, knowing exactly what you're going to get to, and actually being very clear and going after that, and not letting things get in the way, thinking this is a stepping stone, or I'll do it later, or, you know, that's crazy, that sounds so out there, I'm just not going to try it at all. So that's really my first point. And then secondly, I want to tell a little bit of a story and how what I kind of call the big fish in the small pond kind of story as it relates to the topic. And my story as it relates to this is, I went through a time during college and even after college where I really lost track. I was always a good student and everything, but I lost track of, you know, what's important in my life, and I didn't listen to these voices. What I ended up doing a lot of my time is I would go and party. I would waste time with people doing things that weren't even that fun, but just in the party scene in general. And what this did was it kept me in this comfort zone of, okay, well, maybe school was hard or going to my job was hard, but I would go out with people and I would feel at ease and I would finally feel okay. And it was just sort of like a way to escape. And that became a comfort zone. And that's dangerous, because what the thoughts running through my mind, and the next point I'm going to get into is how powerful these thoughts are in how you view yourself and where you're going in your life. And what I heard was, I'd go out and party, and I was always someone with a lot of energy. I like going out and dance. I like to do all kinds of stuff when I'm out. And a lot of my friends looked at me as like, oh, well, he's kind of like one of the people here that's like the life of the party. They kind of knew what they got from me, and, you know, being a fun person or whatever it is. But that was sort of how I viewed myself, as like, oh, I'm a really fun person to be around, or I'm sort of a party person. That's cool. So it's sort of like it's like a self-esteem raise or something. But what it did was it kept me in this place where I'm hanging out with the same people, and it's tricky because you could say, oh, you are self-confident, that's really good, but at the same time, I'm hanging out with the same people. I'm not traveling. I'm not doing all these other things that I would love to do. just for the sake of being happy and looking like my friends, someone who they really liked. And this made me sort of get like a not like a big head, but like I was literally like a big fish in a small pond because I wouldn't break through that comfort zone. And I stayed there, and it was just sort of like hiding in my comfort. And I couldn't be who I was in that environment because I want to be someone who's expansive, and I have ideas coming out of my head left and right, and that that is part of what my gifting is to have great ideas and to create programs and create new perspectives for people in coaching. So with all of that, like, don't be the big fish in the small pond. Don't get comfortable where you're at and just feel like, oh yeah, I'm the man, or this is awesome. Like, I love this. But when you have all these bigger ideas and bigger visions and bigger like just desires of what you want to do with your life, and if you stay in that small confined space, you never will be who you want to be, and you will always feel desires that, even as much as you could ignore them, they're always going to come back at you, and you're never going to feel fulfilled. And that's where a lot of people, I feel like, they're in places like that. Maybe not the whole big fish in a small pond thing, but I think people are in environments and communities like that where they just want to bust free, but they don't see it because it's so hard to see it when you're on the inside, and you just really need to break free, and you just need to allow yourself to grow, and that takes a lot of courage, but it's just absolutely essential. And I want to use that story to sort of go into my third point, which is thoughts are creation. Like, literally, it's not just thoughts are important. What happens literally, and this is sort of like the Thomas Edison story, and like anything with invention, I guess, in creation, is when you have a thought and you focus on that thought, and you start to give it a framework, and you start to get specific on the details of what you want to create. That literally is how every literal manifestation or physical thing, physical substance, is created through a thought. If you just think of anything that you look at, pen, phone, like, these are all ideas. Somebody had an idea for this. Without the idea, it doesn't exist at all. So when you understand that deeply, you understand that everything you're thinking about is actually shaping your entire reality. And the people with the strongest realities are the people who win, people who succeed at things. And that's why you have to control your thoughts so vividly and so carefully, and that's pretty much impossible to do in an environment that doesn't suit you, right? So with that said, I think I'm going to turn over to Rob. I know he's probably chomping at the bit over there. So go ahead, Rob. You get some good points, man.
Awesome, man. That is some wisdom. See that right there? That's wisdom. So that's not even things that you learn in college. It's not things you learn in school. That's nothing but raw, born, pure wisdom right there, Justin. Honestly, I mean, it's like so. It's so deep when you listen to it, because it goes on, and every time it goes on. I mean, I've seen folks calls up and says they want to lose weight, or they want to get in shape, and it takes 4 or 5 months to get started. It's like digging in your core to figure out why are you cutting yourself off at the knees. Sometimes waiting 3 to 4 months, we may only have 3 to 4 months. I could share so many scenarios where I have folks that start on a journey to better health and decided that their finances wasn't right because it wasn't a committed thing for them, and they came off, and now they're living through diabetes, living through sicknesses. If they only had just made that change and didn't cut themselves off at the knees, they would have been in a better position today. And I mean, that's just such a valid point. But to roll right into this, I wanted to share some points and some tips, because I like to, when we on these hangouts, to leave you with some valid tips that you can leave with and really go ahead and think about, and said, okay, you know what, they were right in what they were saying here, and I know I can listen to what they're saying, and I can make changes. So I want to give you a couple of things, and how to to find yourself and define you on your own terms. Like, what's that? You may ask yourself, what is that? Well, sometimes it's going to take us You may don't define yourself at 19. You may don't define yourself at 16. We think we do because we think we're grown at age 16, or we think we're grown at age 19. We think we're grown at age 21, but we're not, because you know what? To be honest with you, at around age 30 something going on 40, I finally decided, you know what? I'm going to define me, and I'm not going to allow anyone to control my destiny whatsoever. I'm going to write what I need to write, no matter if I'm working a 9 to 5 in my own business. No matter what it is, I am going to define who I am, and you have to stand and believe in that part of it. And I know people, some may ask and says, Bob, how do you work a 9 to 5 and you do what you do? Because I'm committed, I'm willing, and I'm dedicated. And that's something I want to carry over, that don't let a 7 to 3 or a 9 to 5 or your job get into the way of your vision. Believe in what you're doing and go after it. If you believe in helping people to be healthy, go after it. If you believe in helping the homeless to no longer being homeless, go after it. If you believe in going out there and helping, you know, a disabled veteran from to a better life, go after it. Don't look back and say, well, I don't have time because I'm working a 9 to 5. No, find time, because there's 24 hours in a day. If you're working 8 or you're working 10, minus that, you have 14 hours. Think to yourself what you're going to do with that 14 hours. That's how I do my day. Every single day I'm thinking of it. What am I going to do with that 14 hours? And you always have to think that way. So to find yourself and define you, I'll give you a quick quote from Oscar Wilde. Once said, he once said, be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. As humorous as this might seem, it's a basic summation of the truth. Yet you can't be yourself if you don't know, understand, and accept yourself first. You hear that message? Accept who you are. Whether you're skinny, slim, fat, big head, two head, whatever you are, accept who you are and love yourself first. It says, okay, also it says, it should be your primary goal to find this out. Find the time to dwell up on what you value and take time to consider what makes up the essence of who you are. There you go again, the core of who you are. Define that, okay? And as part of this, contemplate your life and choices. Your life and your choices that you got to make. Don't wait to get to be 65 and said, I wish I did. I wish I could. I wish I would. I'm hearing that now. I'm hearing folks are saying, you know what? I've missed so many of my kids' baseball game. I've missed so many of my kids' sports. I've missed being there for my kids when they were younger because I was so busy working. We can never get that time back. I did a video the other day on, and it said, you know, this is going to be so different that you always hear this common word of trading time, trading money for time, right? Trading money for time and trading time for money. You hear a lot of folks are saying that, but really, do we really understand what that's supposed to mean? Well, guess what? I'll flip the script and I'll be different. I said, I'm going to share something with you now that I'm going to show you how I'm going to trade money for time and how I define that. And I put examples in the video. Some may don't agree with it because we're locked into one analogy, but here is something to think about. Trading time for money is I decided to give up 10 to 20 grand because I wanted that special time to spend with my son and be there for him, hang out with him, pick him up from school, drop him off at school because I know that was needed. I will never get that time back. Guess what? Now he's 3. I can go and I can hustle deep and make that money back. I can lose money in the stock market and I can get up and make that money back. But I can lose the time. I can never get that time back. So you see how I went ahead and changed the analogy and be different? Yeah, I may get slammed on it, but you know what? That's who I am, and that's what made me me. And I decided to go about that. So just to go on a little bit more on this topic is try to think about what kinds of things you would or wouldn't like to do and act accordingly Finding out through trial and error helps more than you might think it does. Remember what Earl said? Go ahead, fail, get back up, and rise again. Don't be afraid to try. Don't be afraid to fail. That's be who you are. Go after what you believe. Okay, it says also, you can even take personality tests, but be careful to only take what you want from them so that you do not let such tests define you. Perfect! Listen to that. Don't let such tests define you. How many of us out here today that at a job and we're taking a test and we're capable of hands-on and we did not move up or move in the direction that we know we deserve to be in because we failed the test and we was not so good at tests because we are nervous, and automatically we hang our head down because that test defines you. Nope, it doesn't. Don't ever let anyone's comments, anyone's report of you define who you are. Sometimes people try to break you down because they see you're rising and you're going. They try to tell you that you're missing a nostrils, or your hair is gray, or you're gaining weight, or they do whatever it can sometimes to take you down. So don't let anyone define you, because once someone starts defining you, you're gonna lose your true core of who you are. Okay? Says you may feel self-conscious, but over time, if you are around the right type of people for you, they will accept you for who you are and love and start to look at the real you. Don't change for anyone. Be you. Be who you are. Stand for what you believe in. Find your core. All right? And, you know, I don't want to go on, but believe me, this thing can go on forever. I can just give you nothing but raw value. But I just think it's so powerful. Once you define who you are and you dig deep in your core, as some of those things that Justin went over, you will be successful. Don't be afraid and feel like you can't. Don't look back and says, I am going to try. I think I can. You know, yesterday, I give you a perfect example. I met up with a gentleman, and he's a personal trainer. And he said, we're going to run stairs. And I said, okay, no problem. He says, oh, we're going to run the stairs 100 times. And I looked at him like, are you for real? And he said, yes. And by the way, we're going to go up it once, and we're going to go down it. That's going to be one time. So here we go now at a stadium, football stadium stairs, and we're running this thing up it once, down it once, and that is one time. I looked at him like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? But he did it in increments of 20, and at 60, I was ready to quit. But you know what? I dig deep in my core, and I said, here's someone here that's with me. We're doing it, and we ran that stairs 200 times and complete it. So you see where that message aligned, that it says, find people that believe in you. Find people that are following your vision, because the moment you have that, you're going along. You can't do it by yourself. We can't be successful by ourselves. Just think about this. I'm on this hangout by myself, without a Justin, without a Earl. We can't get there. We cannot get there alone. You have to bring people with you. So, again, dig deep in you. Believe in yourself. When you're going at it, you make no sale. You got in business for a reason. You become a health coach for a reason. You became a helping other people for a reason. You became on the internet for a reason. So you don't make sales, don't give up. Just picture you open your door at your McDonald's and no one walked in there and buy a cheeseburger. Are you going to stop carrying cheeseburgers? Of course not. Are you going to close the doors? Of course not. You're going to keep trying. Because you know what? They believe in what they're selling, and they're going to keep their doors open until people come, and they're going to keep strategize until they get what they where they need to be. So please, if it's not one takeaway you get from here, remember, solution to the problem. Don't sell this. So don't sell the problem. Don't sell what you have. Don't sell you, and believe in your core vision of you. I strongly believe in what I do. Justin strongly believe in what he do. Earl strongly believe in what he do. So we're going to fail. We're going to get up, and we're going to go. and we're just going to keep going. All right. So I want you guys to comment below. Some stuff you hear. Justin said, Harold said, just put wisdom. Just put wisdom, 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 because I know it was just powerful wisdom.
All right,
Go ahead, Justin.
Earl, just a couple minutes, and then I'm gonna close this out. We're already kind of going far in time here.
Right. Really, the best thing I can add to this, I mean, you see the guy behind me, old Jesus there. He really explains actions follow beliefs. If you look at Peter when he jumped out of the boat, I got to stand up to do it. Okay? You got to picture Peter, right? He's out there walking on water, and he's got his eyes on Jesus. Now, Jesus gives us this illustration so we can understand how important it is to be focused on the things that count. So if you know what you're doing and you believe in what you have, you got to keep that focus, just like Jesus was trying to tell Peter. He's, hey, Peter, step out, come here. Peter jumps out, and he's walking on water, and he's looking at Jesus. And he's got no idea. He's even... All of a sudden, he looks down. I'm walking on water. What happened? He took his eyes off his mission, and he looks down, and he lets fear instead of faith drive him. The biggest mistake made with all entrepreneurs. I shouldn't be walking on water, and what happens? He's sunk. Jesus had to rescue him. When Jesus rescued Peter, what did he say to him? O ye of little faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for but not yet seen. You have to find a home business that has what you believe matches your vision of where you want to be in life. You need to lock your eyes on that vision and follow it with your actions, because actions always follow beliefs. With that being said, I'm Earl Teets from Troy, Montana. You can find me at thehomebusinesshelper.com. God bless you guys. It's a blessing to be here.
All right, Earl. And Rob, before I close out, I think why don't you tell people how they can reach you in what you're doing?
You can reach me at www.shepherdfit.com changewithrob.com. Reach me there. You can get all information. I love to align myself with you. I love to help you any way that I can. Whether you're getting into business, health coaching, whatever you're looking to do within your life, you can reach me there. All right.
All right, thank you guys so much. So I just got a few quick hitting points I want to make that sort of I think really wraps up everything we've been discussing in this hangout. And the first one is I want to create a scenario of what it is that people do. Earl talked about it as far as going after your vision in your business, and wherever you're at, whatever you do, there's basically two scenarios that I see very common, and it's really the faith-based scenario and then the need-based scenario. And the first scenario I want to go over is the need-based scenario. And what people do is they think, I need to survive. Thought number one, I need to survive. Number two, I need money to survive. Number three, I'm going to basically chase after money because that's what I'm after. That's what I'm looking at. And what that does is someone might have a great intention, I want to start this business, or I have this opportunity that I can really go after, and this is really me. But then, I'm going to get that job because I'm going to make a certain level of income, even though I'm going to stay there, and it feels secure, even if it's not really secure, because most jobs aren't secure. And then they're set. They're like comfortable. They're like, okay. And then if something goes wrong, then they're going to go back to the opportunity and say, oh, I'm going to try this again. So that's scenario one. That's based on need. They're just reacting to everything around them. Scenario two is if someone wants the lifestyle freedom, they want to create something. So thought comes into their mind. I want to thrive. I want to thrive in my life. I'm going to do something great, and I'm going to make the most out of myself. And then so that train of thought goes into, I want lifestyle freedom. I'm not okay right now, and I'm not going to just grab something because it's, it looks good initially. I'm going to go after something that is not so obvious, but I have a plan to get where I'm going. And when I get there, and there's no real destination, but when I get to a certain level, I'll be enormously leaps and bounds ahead of where I'm at now. So that's two scenarios. And the thing about faith is, and really embracing who you are and going after it in that way, is you have everything you need right now to go and get that, whatever that is you want. And you want to embrace that, because the people around you aren't going to say go to scenario 2. They're going to say go get the job that looks good, because that's what most people do. Most people, that's all they know. So you're not going to have people around you telling you to do what really your heart's telling you to do a lot of times. And that's why it's so important to not to be able to be influenced by people around you, and obviously why it's so important that have great people around you. So with that said, here's some 3 quick questions or statements to think about and ask yourself.
That's
All right.
Justin.
What's up?
Hold on.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. But guys, I just want to say that the 3 questions are what do I want to do? Okay, so just ask yourself what I want to do regarding my career, my hobbies, whatever it is. Like, frame it in some way and say, what do I want to do? And really go deep into that question. Don't just say, oh, I want to make money or something. Go deep into it and really write it out and just get clear on it. Because, I mean, it's one of the most important questions you could ever ask. Number 2, what am I best at? Like, even if you don't feel like you're absolutely the best at something, like, allow yourself to go there and think, if I really committed to this, I would be the best at doing this. And that will lead you in a direction that is going to be good for you, and it's going to be a long-term direction that's going to really help you feel fulfilled. Rob, I'll let you get in a second. Don't worry. What to do more of, right? So what do I want to do more of, whether that's your hobbies or maybe it's in your business. Maybe you feel like you're just spinning your wheels and not getting anywhere, but what you want to do more of, what gets you excited and energized, not something that you do and you feel like you need to go lie down or like have a coffee because you're just so drained. For me, it's like doing these hangouts. When I get off these hangouts, I'm just like, I'm smiling and I can't help it. I just feel so pure and like I want to go do another one, you know? So what is that for you? So with that said, Rob, I guess I'll let you, I don't know what's going on, but what's going on?
I think I'm just gonna leave it down because I don't want to get a copyright thing on YouTube. But it was a nice song. It says, "Am I wrong for thinking the way I think?" So I would love to play it, but I just don't want to get that flag on YouTube. Oh, we're gonna flag it because it's copyright issue.
No, just say what song it is. That's all you got to say.
It says, "Am I wrong?" And it says, "Am I wrong for thinking the way I think? Am I wrong for doing the things that I do? Am I wrong for being me?" You know, and I mean, I think it's just a powerful song. I was going to play it and close it out with you, but I said, I don't want to get a copyright flag. So thank you for checking us out. We love you guys for spending this 1 hour with us, and I know that you guys getting value from this. Please share it. Share it with your friends. Share it with your network. You can make a difference and change lives.
Yeah, and I'm going to leave you guys with this quote. First, I'll say my name is Justin Messina, like I introduced myself. My website is justin-messina.com. You can also align with me and Rob and Earl at visionfitmovement.com. You can see my other social media handle, Facebook, information there on the bottom. And the quote I want to close out with tonight is, "Victory belongs to the person with the strongest reality and the most decisive actions." So go out, be decisive, get your vision, hit it hard, and follow it with action. Don't wait to be who you want to be till tomorrow. Do it today. So with that said, as we always say at the end of Real Talk Tuesdays, live Vision Fit, wear out.